My guest today is Milena Seranas, and she is a small business sales coach, and she works with primarily people who are online business owners, so you guys. And today we have a very exciting topic. It has been all over the internet, all over Instagram, and it's Instagram Reels. And here's the thing about Instagram Reels. People think they just have to kind of dance and point, but Milena is here to explain to us how you can actually use Reels effectively without necessarily having to dance and point, and you can still have fun with it and get sales. So welcome, Milena.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this because it is trending and it is big and it can change someone's business.
So tell us a little bit about how you've been using Reels and how you've grown your Instagram, because you grew your Instagram even before that, but just recently you kind of hopped on the Reels. So what has that been like for you? What results have you gotten?
Yeah. Okay. So I have definitely been resisting Reels. I'm going to be honest. And maybe, people watching this are thinking the same thing. And I was very resistant because I was really all about the organic Instagram growth, which was fine, but like trickling along. Now I started Reels about a month and a half ago, maybe now. And within that time, I have nearly tripled my audience. It's grown by like some crazy percentage. I have had just in the last 30 days over 1.5 million views on my profile. My Reels have over 3.5 million views across the Reels. And it's just hasn't just brought in more audience and views, but more importantly for business owners, it's brought in more queries in my DMs of people wanting to work with me, asking how they can work with me, signing up on wait lists for my programs and so forth. So it's just been phenomenal to see the results that you can get from Reels as a small online business owner.
A lot of people kind of think, how are Reels different from, let's say, IGTV or just regular videos? So can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so the reason why Instagram is pushing Reels and why it's very different is Instagram is all about keeping your attention, right? And so they've clearly realized that TikTok knew what they were doing in terms of keeping attention on these really short bursts of videos. So the reel is this like 15-second or 30-second, you can do them for 30 seconds now, video where it's really for entertainment and some really quick bursts of information. So it's not a long form video, which is an IGTV, and it's not like the stories, which are more in the moment videos. It's really for entertainment purposes.
Let's talk about how to create an effective reel. So again, from how to film it, what do you do, what do you point at, how fast do you make it? So can you take us basically step by step on how to create Instagram Reels for small business owners?
Yes, I would love to. Okay, so here's the first thing. I am not someone that has a ton of time to be sitting around creating Reels. And I'm sure that you're not either. And no one here is just like, I've got all the time in the world to create Reels. So what I'm going to kind of give you is the tips and the steps on how to do it really efficiently in terms of time, and also without the need for any dancing, without the need for any outside app editing. You can all do it inside your Reels tabs inside Instagram. And that's important to me because I really don't have the time to be, downloading 10 different apps and editing my Reels. And you don't need it. I'm living proof that you can get millions and millions of views without having to have an extravagant production. So here's step by step. First thing that I do in terms of Reels is I actually look through my Reels tab. So Instagram have this Reels tab at the bottom now when you open up the app, and it's the button in the middle. So I'll look through this tab and I look for inspiration. So I'm a mum. I get a lot of mum Reels pop up with like mum content. So a lot of that I'll take where I find it interesting and funny, and I can see that it's already gotten a lot of views, right? It's already gone viral. So I'll take that, I'll save their music. So you can take other people's music and you can save it. And I'll take that concept and translate it to business owners. I'll translate it to my niche, which is sales. And it's not always mum reels. There's all different types of ones, but I'll basically look for the ones that have already gone viral and really capitalize on that. So you're really shortcutting it here because you don't have to do the work yourself. You don't have to put things out there trying and hoping and wishing they're going to go viral. You can see what other people are doing. But what's important is that you have your own unique spin on it. And I don't think there is any point recreating all the reels that other people have done when you can really take it as just inspiration and put your spin on it in your niche. And the reels that I look to recreate are the ones that don't involve any type of fancy editing. So I'm not like ripping my clothes and like having these outfit changes pop up. You might have seen those reels, and they look amazing and they're awesome and I love them, but nobody got time for that, right? Like not me. So not doing that. And what I'm really looking to do is reels that are very short. Now, the shorter your reel is, the better it actually performs. My best performing reel that has over 2 million views is a 5-second reel. And it's a reel of me literally just sitting down to work. That is all I'm doing in that reel. I'm not dancing. I'm not saying anything. I'm not singing along. All I'm doing is sitting down to work and this like clapping sound comes on and I've got a text over it. So you can check that out and see why it went viral, because it's relatable. So what you want to do is have your reel relatable, simple, short, to the point.
That totally makes sense. So to recap is basically you first do your research and you find reels that have already gone viral. So basically in your home feeds, and then you kind of try to recreate that. So on a different topic that's related to what your business is about. So can we kind of use a small business as an example and what kind of reel they would find and then how they can recreate that to suit their business?
Yeah, I love that. So I will mention one other thing that I do when I go and take these and recreate reels. The first thing that I do is, without also, again, another shortcut is I'm not trying to come up with concepts, even from our own niche from scratch. What I do is I go into my best performing posts, the ones that have the most saves and the most shares, and I note them down, like why did they get the most saves and shares, and I'll use those topics as the ones that I'll plug into my reels. So you can do the same thing for your Instagram. Go into your insights, find your best performing posts and recreate them into reels. Now, an example of a small business owner. So you're a photographer and I'll give you an example that you can recreate from one of my reels that I recreated from someone else's reel. So there is a reel with the music, and I don't know what song it is, but the song kind of goes, "So you're still thinking of me, just like I know you should," right? And that's the music that starts playing. Now, the reel that I created was me looking at my phone, and the text comes up saying, "When a client who ghosts you comes back." Now, me as a sales coach, that's relevant. If you're a photographer, you could recreate the same reel and you could write the text of something along the lines of, "When the clients who wanted your highest paid package who said no to your highest paid package decide to come back after talking to other photographers," right?
That's a good one.
So there are so many different ways that you can do it. And that's so relatable for photographers because it's so relatable for clients, right? You go shopping around and then you come back to the person because you're like, no, actually they're the highest quality. So that's something you can very easily recreate.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, cool. So what is the process of actually doing it? Like when you actually go to take your camera out to create that reel, can you walk us through that? You know what, maybe, I don't know how the lighting's going to be, but if you could show us like what to press and then, what you would do as the lighting and then how you would add the actual text and.
All right, let me walk you through how to create a reel and let's do one together right now.
Okay, awesome.
So open the Reels tab and you'll go into your Reels app so you can see, well, actually, that's my phone. Now I'll go into this bit here, which is the audio. So the second button.
Okay.
Now in my audio, I have under the saved tab up here, I have a whole bunch of music that I've saved from Reels, like I said, right? So let's see what this is. Right, okay, so you can hear that?
Yep.
So I'm going to use that and I'm going to record myself for 2 seconds doing something here. All right, so now we've got that recording and it's right here. There I am. And when you want to add text, we're going to go into this little button saying next.
Okay. So it's kind of similar to stories.
Very, very similar. And like, if you can see these little buttons up here, they're the same as stories, right? So you've got your text and you're going to put in here, you know, like, hello, I'm making a reel. And I'm going to show you how to make your text appear and disappear, because I know that's something people are always curious about. Okay, so we've got 2 pieces of text. And so I want this black piece to appear first. So down the bottom here, we've got 2 pieces of text. I'm going to press the second one and drag it here. Now, when the reel starts, from the start, it's going to, you'll see that one piece of text will pop up and then another one. So it's really, really simple. All you're doing is you're sliding this thing across, creating the text, and then that's it, right? You're ready to share it. So you are then ready to post it. Now, the important thing is that you post your reel to your feed. So there's an option here and it says also share to feed. And it's very, very important that you do that, because if you don't share it to your feed, the engagement is not going to be as high. So you basically have to share it to your feed. But if you're quite precious about your feed and you like to have a nice, clean, neat feed, what you can do is you can share it to your feed and then delete it from your feed. It's going to keep it in your Reels tab. The engagement will still show in other people's feeds, but it's just not going to show in your own. But you have to first share it to the feed. So there's a little hack for you.
Okay, and you can delete it, or sorry, take it off the feed right after you've actually shared it to the feed. And can you create a cover for it, maybe like you can with IGTV?
You can. I've actually found that the best performing reels, kind of in line with what we're seeing on social media trends, is that people really like to see raw and not so curated stuff. So the best performing reels are actually, for me, the ones where I actually have never used an external cover. What I do is I just pick a screenshot of my reel as my cover, and they seem to be the reels doing the best across the board because they don't look so curated, and people really, really like to click on those type of reels. So I recommend doing that, and it also makes your life easier.
That's true. Okay, so here's the important question. As small business owners, we're creating reels in order to make sales. So how do you create the reels to get the sales, and what are those steps involved to maybe do the reel, then get that DM, and so on and so forth, or however you do it?
Yeah, this is a great question. I'm really glad you asked me this, because at the end of the day, I'm not here to create reels just for the fun, and neither should you be. It's really a strategy, a business strategy. So for me, it's all about plugging reels back into my sales cycle, right? So we've got the know, like, and trust cycle of sales, where you first have to have someone know you, then like you, then trust you, and then they're going to buy from you. That's a generalized sales cycle that someone will go through. Now, I'm reverse engineering my reels to take someone through that cycle. The reels that are really appealing to a lot of people and really go the most viral are the ones that are in the know section, right? I'm just trying to get my name out there for people to know me. Who am I? Then I will create different types of reels to really hit at the like factor. So for people to relate to me, and these are the relatability reels, right? The ones that, maybe I talk about how I've been procrastinating all day, or maybe I talk about some of my business values, whatever it is, or, my love for dogs. It doesn't matter. Whatever your thing is that you are going to have someone that relates to that, and they're going to form a like factor based on those common shared values, likes, hobbies, whatever it is. And the third type of reel is the trust/buy reel. And this is where I am showcasing my expertise. So maybe I'm giving some tips on sales. Maybe I am giving some insights on the sales process. Maybe I'm showcasing client testimonials, any of those things. And you can see how there's 3 different types of reels that I'm really doing to take people through the sales cycle. So when someone comes in and they start watching my reels, they're probably going to go and watch the majority of them and be really hit with 3 different types of content.
Okay. And then once they kind of have gotten to know you and like you and possibly trust you, what happens then? Like what happens? What's the next step after the reel?
Yeah, I think usually people will either start watching your stories or they will go through your highlights tab. So as there's been a massive influx of people coming into my Instagram recently from Reels, I've noticed a massive like 3-fold increase in my story watches, maybe even 4-fold. And at one point it was like 7-fold, right? Which gets pretty crazy and amazing. And so there'll be a lot more people watching my stories, which leads them into my DMs because they're going to now sparking a conversation with me. Or I've seen people going through my highlights tab because they're replying to certain stories in my highlights tab to me into the DM saying, hey, this was really helpful, or this was something that sparked my interest. So really 2 ways that people are going to start engaging with you. Where you really want them is in your stories, right? You want them in your stories so you can nurture them as part of your sales process to sell whatever it is that you are selling.
Okay. So if I'm hearing this correctly, the reels are basically to get people into your stories, and the reels are going viral right now. So it's a good time to really use them. Make them really super short. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be, production or anything like that, as long as they are the type of content or the song or music that is kind of going viral right now. And then in your stories, you nurture it. Maybe you use some polls, question stickers, that kind of thing to get people to the DMs where the sales conversation happens.
Yes, exactly right.
Cool.
Yes.
Love it. So when it comes to making money from reels, essentially the reel is kind of like a sales funnel lead machine where it's at the top of the sales funnel that funnels down stories, DMs, and then sale, that type of thing. Cool.
Yes, exactly right. Yes.
So what would you say to those people that are just still kind of shy or hesitant about using reels? Like what advice would you give to them?
Yeah. Okay. So I have 2 pieces of advice. The first piece is that you can make reels work for you based on your personality. Something I hear a lot is people saying like, oh, I don't want to dance, or I don't want to do extravagant things, or whatever it is on reels. And you don't have to. I've seen so many viral reels where the person is they're like not even looking at the camera. So it's really not about you being extravagant. It's just you capitalizing on what's trending, using trending music, and having a relatable reel that's going to relate to many people. And the second thing that I would say is that if you're on Instagram and you're looking to make sales through Instagram, and that is the platform you have chosen to make sales on, then you have to play by Instagram's rules. And Instagram's rules right now is that they're pushing reels. They're basically saying to us very clearly that they are pushing reels. And that was something I had to really get my mind around, because I had this mentality of like, well, I shouldn't have to do reels. I shouldn't have to do these things. Like sales should just come to me. And that's not the case. The case is that, whenever we're plugging into someone else's platform, whatever we think about it, whatever our personal views are on it, we have to play by their rules. So I would encourage you to get involved in those reels, experiment, test, see what works, and really just, have fun with it.
For sure. And, if you can create a story, you can essentially create a reel. It's just kind of like a jazzed up story almost, the way that I see it. And another thing that I want to ask you about is when people do post text on the reels, they make it disappear really fast sometimes. So is it a good strategy to make it disappear really fast so that people have to watch the reel over and over again a couple of times? Or do you make it long enough that they can read it the first time?
This is a great question, actually. If you have a reel and the first piece of text disappears fast, probably not a good strategy, because you're not going to hook people in and they're going to scroll past. But if you have a reel where the first piece of the reel, there is a text long enough to hook people in, you can use a strategy where you have a part of the reel at the end, have a very short piece of text that's going to disappear quickly, so they have to come back and rewatch. But the key here is that you have to first hook them in to want to watch the reel, because people are not going to want to watch it if it's, you know, disappearing immediately and they don't even know what it's about. So yes, but just be careful how you use that strategy. Another thing you can do as well in if you don't want to have text disappear fast is you can have a little piece of text, and I've done this in one of my reels and it did perform quite well, is to say watch till the end, or watch till the last tip, that's the most important, or something along those lines. Or like I've seen people say like wait for it.
I was just thinking that. I'm
when
like,
there's
wait
music.
for it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what is it?
Yeah, that's right. And you know when you see like funny cat videos or dog videos and there's nothing happening and there's a thing that says wait for it and you can't help but wait. You're like, I need to know what happens.
Get hooked
So
every time.
that's a psychology that you can definitely tap into.
Those are some awesome tips. All right, guys, if you want to follow Milena on Instagram, I'm going to put the link right below, and you have no excuses. Now you know how to do reels. We walked you through it step by step, and go ahead and make your first reel. And if you want more Instagram tips, make sure you check out this video right here. I'll see you there.